It's 9, I think.
Or
Actually.
9. 9, yeah.
Whatever.
9:04 even.
It's 8 o'clock somewhere.
Just not here. Just not here.
Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love the Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned, my friend's going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You are watching The Dorkening. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have a kick-ass show for you today. And before we get started, check the show notes up above or down below. Our buddy Steve is in the running for the Best of podcast for the day. And you can find all the information up above or down below. You can go and you can vote for him, I think, once a day. Is it right, Steve?
Yep, you can vote once a day. You can actually, what I've been doing, you can use multiple email addresses. So,
that's cheating. That's cheating.
That's
No,
my
it's not
Steve.
cheating.
And here's Steve to tell you all about how you can cheat to help him win this contest.
No, it's because I've been on a fucking crusade to win an award. So.
Listen, I'm right there with you, buddy. I've been voting for you every day at theday.com. Yeah, when Leo says it's for best of for the day, he means theday.com, the periodical, the newspaper that comes out of Connecticut. So it's The Day, which is running a best of contest, and Super Retro Throwback Reviews is one of the top 5 in the running for best of podcast. I have been voting once a day, like you said, Steve. And if you do have numerous email addresses, you can go ahead and do that. Anything to help our buddy, because we would really love to bump him up from being a multi-award nominated podcast to an award-winning podcast, because he more than deserves it.
Oh, he totally deserves it. And the best thing is he'll shut up about it.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
No,
yeah,
no,
I
I'm
didn't even
kidding.
fringe benefits, gang. No, but for real, like we need to get Steve and his partner like straight up. They deserve this award. They are one of the best around, and it's about friggin' time. So it runs until June 15th. Is that right,
June
Steve?
5th. June 5th is the cutoff.
I'm sorry. June 5th is the cutoff. So from now until then, if you feel so inclined, please go and vote for Super Retro Throwback Reviews at theday.com. And also check them out. We're not just saying this to say it. Like they're an excellent show. And if you're into, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, it's right there in the title. Then it's worth your time to go and check it out. Please do so.
Yeah, and that was powerful, Brandon. Jar Jar.
100% agree with Brandon. Do that, all that, and do it again.
Vote and vote often. There we go.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Vote and vote often.
Makes me think of 30 Rock. Kenneth Parcells like, oh, sir, I don't vote. I feel like it's against my religion. Every single time I just write in God, and then Alex Baldwin's like, oh no, we count those as Republican. You're in.
Oh Christ.
30 Rock was an awesome show.
Love that.
That's funny.
Speaking of 30 Rock, season finale of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, a lot of people said sayonara, huh?
Yeah, and one of them didn't get a goodbye.
Pete Davidson?
No, Kyle Mooney.
Really?
Kyle Mooney was the only one that did not get a special goodbye.
Oh, wow.
Mean, 80 Bryant, well, all of them were emotional, but 80 Bryant, like at the beginning, just her emotional goodbye was, hey, RW.
RW, sorta.
But yeah, it's definitely a changing of the guard, and I'm sad to see him go, but I'm also extremely excited to see what's going to happen next season.
Has it been good? I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in
forever.
Like I remember watching reruns of Belushi and stuff, but and Eddie Murphy, and I caught the therapist or the rapist for 1,000, Alex. Some sketches that are like
anal bomb cover for 1,000.
Yeah.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
Some of the greatest.
I'll take Bone Ape Tit for 200. That's Bone Appetit for 200.
I think one of my
It's
favorite
been
skits
at
was
least
the
a decade since I've
so
sat down for a whole show.
SNL is a very generational thing. I think everybody has their their generation's set cast, like what becomes a touchstone for them to think back on, especially at a certain window. You know, like I think from like 15 to 20 is usually when you find a lot of people who are mired and remember specifically what was going on each week on that show. Because really, when you're in high school for the beginning portion of it, for the most part, you're not out that late on a Saturday night. For the most part,
Yeah,
like,
no.
you know, you shouldn't be. If you're 16 years old, you should not be
In
out
this
at
day and
midnight
age,
on
it's actually
Saturday.
kind of crazy. Like, I know back when I was 16, I was not the kid you should have been hanging out with. But my kid and stuff, like, I'm just kind of shocked. Like, these kids don't go out and party at all. Like, it's really, that's not
There's
saying
so many
not
different
all
there's so many
kids, but
different parasocial like relationships now. I mean, look at this. I mean, we get together each week to do this, but like we're not really together when you look at deeper into it. Like we're in vastly different areas, but we can, you know, we congregate to do this.
Oh yeah,
This is not
my
something that was
therapist says it counts.
Very rarely do we get together in person. Like a few weeks ago, all four of us were
oh
together at
yeah,
Target.
yeah, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was great. But you know, us chatting, like we'll chat before the show, we'll chat after the show. You know, we're all good friends, and you know, this is all virtual, and
Yeah.
you know, it's definitely a lot of, you know, friendships are happening that way.
Yeah, and
Online video
that
games and yeah.
and that I
Oh,
think
dude.
that kind of plays into like that whole kid disappearing and not seeing, you know, where they are until they show up at like 12:30 at night or something. I mean, I can't wrap my head around that anyway, because like, not that I was like a great kid per se, but I actually, you know, hanging out before the advent of cell phones, before they were ubiquitous everywhere, I always actually made a point to call my house to say where I was going, even if I was like at a friend's and we were leaving to go somewhere else. Because my biggest fear was like, what if something happens? Like, what if we get into a car accident? You know, especially like wintertime,
That's right,
and
Tom.
my parents have no idea where I am. I would much prefer that they knew who I was with and where I was headed towards, so that they're not blindsided if something just terrible happens. Like, not totally blindsided anyway. Nowadays, there's really no excuse to not make contact with anyone. You can shoot a quick text and be like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm going there," and that's that. You don't even need to have like a. I called my parents shit faced after I showed up at my friend's house when I was 21 for New Year's Eve. I didn't need to do that, but I was still like, "I'm in Boston." Like, yeah, we can tell, Brandon. We got it.
So my parents were like totally the opposite. So I came from a very large family, and I'm the last of the litter. So, you know, pretty much they didn't really care what I did. You know,
Yeah,
it was I was a goody two shoes, but you know, it's yeah, they didn't mind, you know, whatever I did.
Well, not only that, they were just fucking tired at that point too. They had dealt with that bullshit so much with like what, 15 other kids.
Well, totally. I was in my 20s. I was driving home from work, and I'm going through a four-way intersection, and this kid that just got his license thought he could turn left on into oncoming traffic at a four-way, hit me head on. I was doing about 40, and I'm so shook up. I call my mom like right away, and basically the conversation was, you know, the car is drivable. I should be okay to get home. Okay.
Oh my
We'll
God.
see you in a bit. And like, I didn't realize that I totaled the truck. I was so fucking out of it, but it was.
Yeah, you were in shock, dude.
Yeah. Rightly so.
Like, I'm so young, my life flashed before my eyes. I had to ask for a rerun.
Yeah, that's almost the exact story of what happened to me like a few months ago. And like, yeah, that you there's no, you're sitting there like, oh my fuck. Yeah, that's crazy. Now,
Yeah.
I had like the worst of you guys had like that sounds great. I grew up in the foster care system, like from
Oh,
12 on. My parents gave me up. It was fucking dope.
fuck them.
So, oh yeah, dude, absolutely, right up the ass. But
Unreal.
yeah, no, it was actually kind of interesting. In my 20s, searching for family and stuff, I reached back out to them, apologized for my whole teenage years and stuff, and yet they fucked me again. And like now,
Oh,
my
no.
parents, they sent me all my baby pictures and moved to Arizona. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, wow.
What a weird go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah, it was.
I mean, at least they provided you with your baby pictures.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was like, well, at least I got this. My brother's just like, fuck them. Like he stayed with them all through up until like 18 and stuff, and he was like, dude, in a way, I envy you. He was like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a double-edged sword, you know.
Yeah.
Like in a way,
Oh no,
I get that.
I actually am thankful for the way I grew up myself. Like I the streets were rough, but like, it taught me a lot of shit. And also, like, I wouldn't be where I am today had that not all happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Mind
right
you,
there.
some of
I'm
the
right-
trauma would be nice not to have,
Yeah,
but
but even still, it speaks to like, don't let the past define you.
yeah.
But you do have to let it be part of who you are now.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like those questions were like, if you could go back knowing what you know now, what would you do different? And quite frankly, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know that I would want to do anything different, because like the road was not great to this point. But if I did anything different, would I not end up with like my beautiful wife Dara and stuff like that? Like,
Exactly.
I can't chance that. That's nuts. No thanks, Doc Brown. You go in your DeLorean all by yourself. I'm good.
I know my life wouldn't have happened the same way, because I grew up in Worcester. So like getting out to Western Mass was caused by the whole putting into the foster system, and it was a great change of life for me, like from going from a city life to more of like they brought me to East Hampton. Like in East Hampton then was like bumfuck, like nowhere. Like I had Northampton down the road, which was well, today it is a coming up town,
Fair enough. But
well, with all their dispensaries, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the case in a lot of places. Hey, J-Bo, how you doing, bud?
How's it going, man?
But yeah, in a roundabout way, though, I mean, talking nostalgically about that point in time, I'm sure a number of us back then, from the 90s into the aughts, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to like be purposely exclusive, Steve, because I know you're a little younger than us, so that time frame might not exactly work for you. But
no, actually, I was around that time, so
Yeah, and I was gonna say you excluded the 80s.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
we were kids in the 80s and teenagers in the 90s.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about teenagers. That's why I'm saying like 90s aughts, because like Leo, you were in high school in the 90s.
Myself a 90s kid.
I graduated in 92.
But I was really an 80s kid.
You graduated in 92?
Yes.
So you were in high school in the 90s. Don't fucking correct me. All right.
Yeah, I'm 96, so.
I am 2000. So.
Very nice.
2007.
I skipped grade 2.
Did you? Damn.
That's awesome.
You're one of them.
But there's that point in time where a lot of us were late night. We were night owls, and we were watching Saturday Night Live on Saturdays, checking out Conan every night, late night with Conan O'Brien at 12:30 at night, Monday through Friday.
He was like big, like he was like a note. I remember him doing like. Was he the dude that did interviews in like people's houses and stuff at a time? Like,
I don't recall that.
I know who you're talking about, Jar Jar.
Like,
but But regardless, I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
there was a touchstone of shows and stuff like that, and there usually is for each generation. And for Saturday Night Live, there's always that cast that people gravitate towards because it's what was there when they were that specific demographic. For me, there was a lot of stuff. I mean, I was right there in that Will Ferrell, Sherry O'Terry era, you know what I mean? Like the Spartan cheerleaders, like all that shit. Weekend Update with Tina Fey. Yeah, Will Ferrell is Harry Carey. Hi, how you doing?
Hi guys.
Would you like to move to Mars with me and ride around on a dune buggy?
Oh, and Church Lady.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
my
going
God.
back a little bit, but Dana Carvey, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right there for your generation. Shortly before he left and went to do the Dana Carvey show,
Mad TV.
which if you have Hulu and you have the chance, I do recommend checking out the documentary Too Funny to Fail, which is the story of the Dana Carvey show. Just more comedians and funny people per capita on that show, and it failed so out loud. It is insane.
Speaking of documentaries, also the George Carlin documentary started this week.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's on HBO and HBO Max.
Yeah, I think what is only 2 episodes so far?
Oh, it's a series? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The miniseries,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
haven't
should
checked
go for a
it out
while.
yet.
I always loved his your stuff is stuff, but everybody else's stuff is shit. Fucking that fucking it was
Everyone
great,
else's stuff is shit, and your shit is stuff.
But you got to go get some of your shit out of their stuff.
I gotta tell you, I recently rewatched Jersey Girl, Kevin Smith's Jersey Girl with my wife Dara.
That's a
and
way better movie than what it was given credit
that
for.
movie is wonderful. It is sweet and full of heart. It is probably one of the best performances I've ever seen George Carlin give. His chemistry, not just with Ben Affleck and the young girl playing Gertie in it, but Stephen Root and the other guy playing the buddy, like they're all friends and everything, working for the city. Just absolutely amazing. That was definitely a casualty of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez having done the movie Gigli together, and then having their relationship difficulties after the fact. People held that against the movie, as well as Smith View Askew Universe fanboys. Listen, I love
a serious movie from.
Well, you know, anybody who actually likes Kevin Smith knows that he promised his mother, especially for years and years, that he would make a family-friendly PG-13 movie, and that is exactly what he did with Jersey Girl. And it's a very sweet flick. Like, Affleck is not hamming it up. Liv Tyler is probably the most adorable she's been since That Thing You Do. It's just a really, really good flick. The young actress who plays the daughter in it is so talented. It was great to go back and watch it after years, which I liked it initially when it came out anyway. I did not hold the fact that Jay and Silent Bob weren't in it.
I went and saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. And I was really, really perplexed when people were trashing it. And now, years later, I look back and I'm like, oh, I get it. You guys are exactly like the fascist fanboys for all the like comic book movies we see now.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't meet the weird expectations you've already set for it means it's automatically trash. And that is what the French call garbage.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting sick of the fanboy hatred. Everything is so negative these days. We allow for conversation in my comic book group, but like, it's always like, oh, this sucks. This looks horrible. This is fucking, and it's just like, my God, I thought we were fans.
So it's spreading everywhere, and so I watched some oddball shit, and
no,
yeah, so it started with what the fuck is that? that Treasure Island show, where they're digging Oak Island.
What is it?
Never heard of it.
Oak Island on History Channel.
Oh, okay.
Where they're digging to try to find this pirate treasure.
I'll take your word for it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's like 9 seasons. I think it's longer than 9 seasons.
Wow.
It's at the point where they're.
I feel like after 9 seasons, if you haven't found it, give up.
Well, they're still hunting for Bigfoot, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Actually, there's a new Bigfoot show too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so come on, like.
What do you do when you're not hunting for Bigfoot? I hunt for leprechauns.
And then there's
okay,
the guy
good luck with
that's
that.
looking for the gold pile up in Alaska.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's actually a couple of those. Yeah. There's like and there's like so.
Those ones make me sad.
Oh, there's some good ones. I'll turn you on to some good ones. But
I love a good train wreck.
So Oak Island, I started following the subreddit, and I noticed that it's just a lot of negativity because, and I get it, like so many seasons in, they haven't found anything. It's like, they're doing like a drunken watch. Yeah, exactly.
If you're not watching it, they're not gonna. Like if it doesn't have a base, eventually it won't play.
That's what I'm so confused about. So many people complaining about it, but yet they're watching it to complain about it.
Yes, and speaking, I would like to segue. Just
before we do, I had just real quick. So I'm watching this new show, Skinwalker Ranch, and I decided, oh yeah, it's awesome. It's on its 3rd season. Absolutely loving the show.
What's this on?
It's on History Channel as well. Skinwalker Ranch is a really freaky place. A lot of freaky shit happens.
Yeah,
there.
It doesn't sound wholesome.
No.
But
like
they're
a
doing
Skinwalker. Somebody's like. It gets the lotion, or put the lotion on, or it gets the hose.
Taken, right?
Well, so Skinwalker Ranch actually it's a legit place in I think it's Utah, and actually the government.
Beautiful state, by the way, if you ever get to go.
Oh, I haven't been there, but I've seen the show. Yeah. So the government, Bigelow Industries, they actually set up shop there and did a whole mess of investigations, and then they left. And it was like investigations into the paranormal and UFOs and stuff like that. Well, anyway, Skinwalker Ranch, this new billionaire buys it, and he's doing a show about it. And they're bringing in all these scientists to try to figure out what's going on. Well, anyway, I'm enjoying the show. I joined the community thinking that, it's going to be like-minded people, just people interested in the show. It's all fucking negative shit. It's like, oh, this show's so fucking fake, blah, 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 blah. It's
what a surprise.
Well, speaking of the toxic fan base of shows, you're talking about Reddit, Leo. I wanted to mention Twitter, because Twitter, especially with the wrestling community, it gets extremely toxic real fast, especially when wrestling shows go on like their respective times. And people have their camps, like people side with WWE, people side with AEW, and people side with the indies. They are conflicting with each other because they're saying, oh, one's better than the other. It's entertainment, guys. Just grow up.
Yes, and speaking of all of that toxicity and people just waiting to complain about something, I've been fucking holding on to that one for 5 minutes. The Thor Love and Thunder trailer was released.
Oh, Thor, but
and I want to reach through my computer and throttle so many people who are complaining, particularly about Jane Foster.
Oh, Jane Foster.
Oh yeah,
this. I thought we were going with Thor.
No. We can get to Thor, but the thing that I railed against one of the Gore, whatever. Yeah, if they made Gore look like he did in the comic books, then those same people that are complaining that he doesn't have a comic accurate look would be complaining that he looks like Ebony Maw from Endgame.
Or Cad Bane. Or
like, listen, we can identify
or
what your complaints are going to be based on a what if scenario by what your complaints are now. So you could just fucking stop. All right. But the thing that's getting me is like, I'm seeing people come up with like theories as to why Jane Foster can use Mjolnir. Stuff like, oh, maybe she's this is one of my favorite ones. Maybe she's the avatar of the storm that Thor actually derives his power from, and that's why she's able to control Mjolnir. I'm like, or she's worthy. Did you bend over backwards? Did you bend over backwards to explain why Steve Rogers could pick up Mjolnir in Endgame? No? Why? Oh, I think we know why.
Worthy.
Yeah, he was worthy. But why
he
didn't
has a penis?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'm so fucking tired of it. Like the whole thing about Thor's hammer is whosoever holds this hammer, if they be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. That's it. That's it. It's in the first fucking movie. Anthony Hopkins whispers it to the hammer as if he's saying hello to a dear friend he hasn't seen in millennia, and then tosses it to Earth. Boom. There you go. That's all the explanation we need. I will say, though, I thought it was dope as fuck in this trailer where it shows her spread the pieces of Mjolnir out to take out a shitload of enemies and then pull it all back to reform the hammer.
That's
dope. Cool. Yeah. I am all about it. I cannot wait to see this flick.
It looks phenomenal.
You know the name I'm gonna try to say, but the director there,
Taika Waititi.
He doesn't put out bad flicks.
No.
Like I've even gone through now and finished, or not finished, but I'm into the Pirates show that he did, and it gets better as it goes on. It makes more sense, and
Does it? Because
really
I didn't make it past the first episode.
I didn't at first, but then I forced myself through because I don't know why. I like torture, I guess. I don't know.
Jojo Rabbit is another good one that he did.
Oh, Jojo Rabbit's amazing.
Yeah.
I still need to watch that. It's on my
Oh,
watch.
hold on. No, I do know about that. The little Jojo. They do the birthday.
Taika Waititi plays
fantastic.
his imaginary friend Adolf in it.
Yeah. And friggin' he's not kidnapped, but him and his grandfather go on the road. That was great. That was a great movie.
His grandfather is not in it. I think you may be confusing it with a different movie.
Oh, sorry, not his grandfather. Who's the guy he's off on the run with?
He's not. You're confusing it with a different movie.
Oh, no. That's right. Jojo Rabbit's the Nazi one.
That is correct. That's why I said his imaginary friend Adolf, who's played by Taika Waititi.
For some reason, I was thinking Jojo Rabbit was the one with the kid that was in Deadpool.
Yes, I know exactly. Yeah, that kid is hilarious. That is a talented kid for real. I was glad to see him in Deadpool too, and I hope he continues to get work for sure.
Me too.
But
Jojo Rabbit's the other one there.
Yeah,
I saw that one too.
He's a talented dude, and the funny thing for me is like I had seen his name for years, and I never bothered to look him up. I honestly thought that he was a woman just based on the first name. It's just unfortunately that's the anglicization of names that I've grown up around. It ended in an A, so I automatically assumed it was a woman's name. But I did understand that they were from New Zealand, and one of the first things I ever came across by him was Eagle versus Shark, which stars Jermaine Clement, and that's shortly thereafter I found Flight of the Conchords One Night Stand on HBO, which is one of the funniest half-hour specials I've ever seen. And then I still had no idea that it was him in Green Lantern that played Hal Jordan's best friend. Yeah.
Oh.
So you've seen Green Lantern, right?
Yeah, a few times.
When Hal finally shows his buddy the suit, and he's like, boom, and he's like, I know, right?
Oh, no shit.
The dude he's talking with is Taika Waititi, who does a flawless American accent throughout the whole movie. That's how he and Ryan Reynolds became friends, and that's why myself personally, I got a huge kick out of the Korg Deadpool video game commercial that they did together. I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool, man. Like they've clearly been friends for years because of that. And then obviously working together on Free Guy. I mean, that wasn't an accident.
So good.
That was one of the best video game movies that's ever been made, which is really saying something
Wait, it's better than Mario Brothers?
I mean, that doesn't
That will
take much.
always hold a place in my heart, but
Yeah, much like a fucking blockage that is slowly killing you.
you don't think turning into like weird faux mushroom fungus wasn't a good way to go?
I mean, I think that's the least of that fucking movie's problems.
Well, I know we're talking about toxic fandom, and you get to people that say, well, why'd they have to make Thor a woman? It's the same people saying, well, why are they making Hulk a woman? You know, it's
Yeah, if I wanna fucking just flick in the nose every single person that says the term MCU. I will. You know what?
Oh my God.
Straight up, you deserve to be punched in the dick.
Yep.
Like,
I was sitting there with
your
somebody the
balls
other
should be
day.
turned into a speed bag for every single feminist out there. And when I say feminist, I don't mean women. I mean feminists, like men and women who both advocate for women to be, you know, equal and have the rights that they are supposed to, as well as all the autonomy that is afforded us. You know, you fucking assholes. MCU. Oh, why did they do this? The other complaint that I love seeing recently is about Miss Marvel. Like, oh, they changed their powers. Yeah, dipshit. Because her powers are fucking stretchy powers. And they're about to introduce Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. I think that they want Mr. Fantastic to remain who he's been since the 60s and be clear on what his power set is, and then just kind of tweak what her abilities are. Calm the fuck down. Like which one is it? Are you gonna complain that they're putting like too many female characters into the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, or when they do it now they're changing it as well? So like they can't win. Is that what it is? You know,
my favorite, just the other day, I listened to a guy just go on about that, saying how the white males are being replaced throughout the Marvel universe. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the white male leads still well outnumber the anything else in the Marvel universe.
Absolutely.
Like they've
Listen,
added a few characters. Like
I will take every single one of these projects that they are working on and incorporating into the larger MCU. I much prefer that they do what they're doing with shows and movies than because like that is organic and it makes sense. It's a logical and natural progression from the stories that we've started with as a launch pad. What I don't like, and I'm not trying to like just pull from my wife's own experience, but like she is a prism through which I can see certain things that I might otherwise not pay much attention to. My wife hated in Endgame when all the female Avengers, like all the female superheroes, were just suddenly weirdly all together on the battlefield, and they're like, "Oh,
Spider-Man.
Captain Marvel needs to get this all the way over there," and like, "Don't worry, we got her." And it's like, you realize, you know, my wife's thing was like, "Isn't she invulnerable? Like, why does she need them to cover her? She can just go over there and punch Thanos in the face, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good point." She goes, "So they did that just to pander to like me?" And I was like, I think they might have." And she goes, "Yeah, fuck them." That, you know, straight up. And I was like, all right, you know what? I get where you're coming from. I really do. Like, if you walk away from a scene like that and you feel as if it was done solely because they thought you wanted it and not because it made any sense for the story, then I can totally see being somewhat offended by that.
it really doesn't make any sense because, like, why would they split up everybody by sexes? Like, be like, all right, girls over there. Come on, guys. We'll
what
go
is this,
fight
like,
the real threat.
a gym class in 1986? Shirts, skins. Like,
all right, girls, go grab some jump ropes.
So you have people complaining about all that, but I haven't seen too many complaints about Thor butt.
I've seen some interesting men's rights dudes popping up saying like, yeah, oh, if that were Jane it were happening to, it wouldn't be funny at all. It's like, well, first of all, I think context is key. Secondly, Chris Hemsworth and Taika Waititi are both fucking goofballs from Australia and New Zealand, respectively. Nudity is not that big a deal everywhere else in the world outside of America. Okay? Most importantly, Chris Hemsworth did it. He agreed to do it. Likely because he was like, oh, that'll be really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not for
He's
nothing.
probably like, my ass is great.
And here's the thing. I feel like in the movie itself, it's still going to be blurred. Which to
You
me,
think so?
Well, that would be hilarious.
that would be
That
fucking
would be.
hysterical. I think bleeps and blurs can be funnier than actually hearing the swears and seeing the thing if done right. And Taika Waititi is exactly
That
the
would be
smart type of
hilarious.
comedian that could do that. I would love that to be the case.
Yeah.
They're like,
They
oh,
turn him
this is a
around and he's
family
blurred
show,
all the way
people.
down to the floor.
You flick too hard. You know, but like
Just the image of all the girls fainting after just sold me with the trailer.
Yeah, it's just, you know, the thing is, he's not being sexually assaulted. He's from a Scandinavian based religion, like a mythology. Like they are very open with their own bodies in that culture. You know, I
They
mean,
usually just wear robes and
if
stuff.
that,
Yeah.
if that, you know?
Like it's like just drapery. Like it's
yeah.
nothing.
Go use
like,
go use a sauna in Sweden versus a sauna in America and see the difference. Because when you go to use one in Sweden or anywhere in the Scandinavian region, you're gonna see a lot of wang. Just saying. And I don't mean like an Asian dude that's hanging out in the sauna. I mean penises through and through. All right, there's gonna be more hogs than a pig farm.
I agree on that one.
And the thing
Tom.
is, I mean, I'm jealous of his butt anyway, and I haven't even seen it because it's blurred out. So I like them apples.
Just real quick. So Tom's, for those of you listening, Tom says any guy hating on Thor's butt are jealous that they don't have a butt as sexy as Thor. Also, I just wanted to point out, Tom said something earlier, and I love it. He says the Dorkening is more than friends. The Dorkening is family. Aw, thank you, Tom.
Oh, real quick, also
dysfunctional as possible.
that is a very sweet sentiment, and I agree with that. Thank you, Tom. Jabo had also mentioned, you know, when we were talking about the Korg and Deadpool thing, was like, hey, Thor, that kid is back. Thor, Noob Master. Hey, did you know that they made that canon with another commercial?
Really?
Yeah, Noob Master is one of the guys from Derek Comedy that did Mystery Team. He shows up in The Winter Soldier. He works in like an Apple store or something like that. He's got long blonde hair and a beard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was the genius kid in Mystery Team. Yeah, in a commercial that Anthony Mackie does as Sam Wilson, he's looking to buy a video game, and the guy is showing him how to like sign on, and everybody goes, "What the hell kind of name is Noob Master 69?"
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh shit, that dude in Winter Soldier is the guy that they're talking about in Endgame."
That's hilarious.
When I caught the connection, I don't think I was doing this show at that point in time, so I had nowhere to like scream about it or anything. But yeah, you should
I
check
wish
it
I
out.
had your brain, Brandon.
Well,
Like-
welcome to the Terror Dome, I guess.
Oh, I block so many things out until like little like keywords hit, and I'm like, oh yeah.
This is how I live my life. It's a nightmare. But yeah, like that's like just seeing Noob Master now made me think of it. So thank you for that, Jabo. I really appreciate it. Yeah, listen.
I agree with Justin. A Boy and His Blob, the movie, that would be dope.
Yes.
I think that would be really
I haven't
cool.
played that video game since I was probably 9 years old, so I don't really have a
I
lot.
had my Xbox had the little chip put in, so I have all the games, and yeah, I probably like 2 years ago was the last time I played that. It's fantastic still.
Actually, limited run games. I think there's the campaign for it is ending this weekend, but they're doing a special edition of A Boy and His Blob. Like they have the cartridge, and they'll have like a box of it, and with the cartridge, and they'll have like a little collectibles and stuff. So
You want to
Yeah,
buy it for me?
you've shown some of the stuff that they've done that you've bought before, and it looks really cool, Steve. I love what they do. Like I was
Yeah.
not aware of them until I started hearing this show, and you brought them to my attention. So thank you for that and bringing them up again. Now I'm gonna end up down a fucking rabbit hole at the end of this show. Wonderful. But speaking of jumping down rabbit holes and things that may seem like you already know the ending of them, Obi-Wan, man.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
that's coming out.
So we're getting 2 episodes this Friday. And Jeremy, the other night you said this is like the weekend for new shows. What else is starting this weekend?
Oh,
Stranger
boy.
Things.
See, this Stranger Things is starting. Thank you. See, you're gonna have to ask Brandon and Steve. My brain is like I was there in that moment. This moment, I
But
don't know.
I actually have a little insight on the Stranger Things season 4. Obviously, it's 2 volumes. First volume comes out Friday, and the second volume comes out in July 1st. They release the runtime for each episode. So the first volume is going to be obviously both volumes. It's going to be 9 episodes total. The last volume,
so like 5 and 4.
the last episode, the last volume is going to have the last 2.
And isn't the last 2 episodes like 2 hours? Last 2 episodes like 2 hours each or
So
something?
let me knock that one out of the park. So episode 8 and 9, which is going to be in volume 2, is 1 hour and 25 minutes. That's episode 8, and episode 9 is 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And each episode in the first volume
There's
is
2
clocking
movies
in
right
over an
there.
hour.
Yeah.
So
That's for me, that seems a little daunting to watch.
So 8 and 9. All right, so you got 2
Yeah.
movies right there, and then an hour each for 1 through 7. 7 hours. Wow.
yeah. And then you got Obi-Wan, the first 2 episodes, and then you got Top Gun Maverick this week.
Do I?
Yes, we do.
Hey.
I'll be watching
I
it
don't get it. He's supposed to be in a plane. Why the fuck is Tom Cruise running so much?
because that's his commercials. He is contracted, obligated to be running in every single trailer.
Not
You can't catch me, gay thoughts.
I mean, he was
he's
Sorry,
running
that's a
running
Family
away
Guy
from the
reference,
volcano.
everyone. I don't actually subscribe to that. It's just a funny line. That's all.
That's hilarious.
The other thing that's premiering this weekend for anybody that's a fan of Letterkenny is Shoresy, which is a spin-off on Hulu.
I feel
And my interest in that can be described only as meh.
Yeah.
Like I'm whelmed. I'm not overwhelmed or underwhelmed. I'm just whelmed by it. I think that one of the reasons Shoresy works so well on Letterkenny is because you never see him.
Exactly.
Like you never see his face. You only hear his voice. It's clear that it's Jared Kiso.
Queso, yeah.
Who's doing it. But like they legitimately just have Jared Kiso with like a blacked out tooth playing Shoresy in this show. And I'm like, oh, you are going to completely destroy the magic of the character.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to check it out, but it's worth mentioning for anybody out there that is a fan of Letterkenny. I do like Letterkenny. I do feel like they need to kind of like bring it back to basics a bit because
the last couple seasons have been a little.
I think they after what went down with Marie Fred a couple seasons back.
Yeah, where she cheated on him, right?
I was trying not to spoil it, but sure.
Oh, sorry.
But where he finds out after that point, there was a lot of chance for some real good comedic drama in the show, and they sort of like took a hard left instead, and it's just been more goofy and weird and inane stuff in everything that you see. Not a lot of stuff of substance, and I think the show's better than that. I just hope that maybe Shoresy will be them working all that out of their system and coming back to Letterkenny a bit more fresh and having a greater desire to develop the characters more. But yeah, that's what we're looking at for this weekend. The movie, those shows, and I don't think that there's too much else that we're dealing with. I think Fantasy Island's season premiere is next Tuesday.
The Orville.
Oh, the Orville.
Yeah.
Superman and
I'm
Lois.
sorry. The only reason I'm looking down, I'm trying to figure out. I knew I had shows that I was on.
Yeah, the Orville is next Thursday.
Thursday, yep.
On June 2nd.
And Superman and Lois is back, right?
Superman and Lois is back on Tuesday of next
and
week.
The Boys is next Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we got a lot of stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks.
And then you got Miss Marvel in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward to, a lot that we'll be talking about, you know, so you guys and gals can all put pins in any one of those things.
Sister Wife?
Never.
Oh, probably nobody. Okay.
I don't know what that is.
That's a show, I guess.
Sounds like it's about Mormons. I don't know.
Probably.
So speaking of Tom Cruise, I mentioned this out of the way. So
you got banned on Reddit.
Yes, I did. And I'm not sorry. So over the weekend, and let me explain what happened. Over the weekend, there was a there was a leak of the Mission Impossible trailer. Everyone's seen it already, but it leaked over the weekend. So apparently before Paramount started, dropping the ban hammer on everyone, on Twitter, I downloaded it and pulled an Ed Snowden and posted it on Reddit. And then I got kicked off of Reddit. And I am not sorry, because I am not a fan of Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, the funniest thing to me about that, Steve, and please don't take this the wrong way. Like, I wasn't trying to go full Schadenfreude on you, delighting in your misery, because I know you really didn't fucking care about Reddit anyway. But, like, you were like, oh, I got booted. And I was like, oh, man, them's the breaks, huh? And literally less than 24 hours later, Paramount's like, hey, here's the trailer for the next Mission Impossible.
Yeah, right.
I was like, Steve, if you had just not fucking done that, you'd be fucking in the clear. But no worries. I mean, what is this? The 7th Mission Impossible movie that's coming out?
Yeah, it's a part one.
I haven't seen.
I didn't even watch the trailer.
Is it?
I didn't watch it either. I haven't. 7, and it's a part 1 of 2. Like this movie coming out. It's what is the name of it? Deep Impact or some bullshit?
Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning. Yeah. Dead Reckoning 1, and then Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning 2. I haven't seen a Mission Impossible movie since Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah, same here.
That was an excellent movie. It was done so well.
What's his name was the bad guy in it?
There's a lot of throwbacks to the first one in this. Obviously, Henry Sirensky's Kittredge from the first movie is back in this. And you see a callback to the first Mission Impossible movie where he does the magic trick where he's with the disc in his hand. He does that to Haley Atwell, but with a key. So it looks like it's interesting.
Oh, Haley Atwell's in it?
Yeah.
I like her. That's neat.
Haley Atwell, Tom Clemente, anyone that's been in the past.
Do I have to watch the other one of like 5, 6, or 4, 5, and 6 to be ready
not
for
necessary.
7?
I'm pretty sure.
If you are interested in watching them, they are available streaming.
A fun fact about the Mission Impossible movie series is they are directly responsible for Hugh Jackman being cast as Wolverine in the X-Men movies for Fox, because he was not the original person cast to play Wolverine.
I will say, Jeremy, if you want to see the last one that came out, Fallout, and for a reason why Henry Cavill with a mustache and why DC fucked Henry Cavill's mustache over, this is the reason why, because it's
Oh, I thought that was for
wow, what a
uncle or something like that.
What a perfectly weird way to say, hey, Paramount wouldn't let him shave his mustache. That's why they had to digitally erase it in Justice League.
Yep.
There we go. You don't even have to see the movie now, Jeremy. That's why it was there. But what I was gonna say is, in Mission Impossible 2, the villain played by DeGray Scott. DeGray Scott was the person who was cast to play Wolverine in X-Men by Bryan Singer.
Oh no shit.
But John Woo went over schedule on Mission Impossible 2, so DeGray Scott had to drop out of the role as Wolverine to go back for reshoots and what have you on Mission Impossible 2, and they had to scramble to cast Hugh Jackman in the role. That's why in that first movie, especially, Hugh Jackman is still like lanky and scrawny as hell. He's barely got any musculature to him. And it's great because like we got Hugh Jackman out of the deal.
Yeah,
and
thank God they went the other way.
Well, I mean, you say that, but like DeGray Scott was like smaller and actually looked a lot more like Logan from the comic books.
Do you think he would have bulked up enough?
He would have had the time to
Yeah.
bulk up if he had not had to go back and do reshoots for Mission Impossible 2. But I'm just it's a fun little what if scenario. It's just unfortunate because DeGray Scott is a good actor, and that would have likely been like a great launching point for him for a huge national audience to see him as like the hero. But like I said, we got Hugh Jackman out of it, and that magnificent talented bastard, he can pretty much do whatever he wants now. But yeah, just a fun little bit of trivia involving those two franchises. John Woo with all of his. I always used to joke. I'm like, oh, they needed to do reshoots because he didn't have enough slow moving doves flying through every scene.
Well, so speaking of franchises,
oh boy,
I know Steven's going to be very excited to hear about this. So I read an article today, and take this totally with a grain of salt, but they're talking about how WB and DC is frustrated or possibly frustrated with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, that's being put out by like a few different people right
Yeah,
now. I don't really know what it means. So.
Bad Robot signed a contract for
2024.
What has J.J. Abrams done?
But
with them?
it was a $250 million contract that Bad Robot Productions signed with Warner Brothers in 2019, September of 2019. So we're coming up on 3 years that they've been, quote, developing for Warner Brothers / Warner Discovery now. And so far, what they've put out is bupkis. They have a show that they're just getting ready to produce called, and I might be murdering the pronunciation here.
Yeah,
Demimonde.
Sounds good to me.
I took Latin for years, and I see it, and I just think like it's a combination of like a Greek prefix and a French word. It looks to me like Demimonde. They're trying to say like partial world, like semi world, like monde means world in many different languages. So it might have something to do with like questioning reality. It's probably a fucking mystery box show because it's J.J. Abrams.
Well, the small synopsis. Thank you. That I read. It deals with some woman traveling, trying to find her family, which eventually finds in a different world.
Well, there you go.
Kind of
All
thing.
right.
So yeah.
So yeah, I got that just from the title. But he's also, it is important to know, I mean, it's not that it's been a lame duck thing. I think that there's been some legitimate diligence that's been done, because J.J. Abrams is also the one who's been developing the production of Superman that Ta-Nehisi Coates, the author and comic book writer, has written, which I'm so glad that they finally put out a bit more of like what it is that Ta-Nehisi Coates is doing with the story, because it really was like chapping my ass that because Ta-Nehisi Coates is a black man who happens to be an author and comic book writer, that they were like, oh, Superman's gonna be black then. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's an author. Could it possibly be, and I know this sounds crazy, and I've said this on the show before, that he was the writer who had the best ideas for the character? You don't have to be black to you don't need someone to be black, and that therefore means they're going to write black characters. Just because somebody is Asian doesn't mean they're going to strictly write Asian characters. That is ridiculous to make that assumption. The reason why you hire writers and creators is because they are creative. They are good at putting themselves in other people's shoes. Their sympathy and empathy allows them a different viewpoint, and they're able to put that on paper. That's why we look at movies and television shows and think and feel the way we do when we're watching them. I literally just had to break down the fucking imagination process involved for all parties in that whole scenario. But like the things that they're saying he's doing, it looks like he's going to be using Superman as an allegory for a lot of the issues that we're seeing socially, which is exactly the kind of thing you want Superman to be doing in these stories. I mean, some of the best stories out there for Superman involve how he views humanity and he sees that we can be better, and he tries to be an example of how we can do that. You know,
That's why I love Superman 4, and I don't care what anybody says.
Listen, I think Superman 4 was an ambitious idea. It's still a little dangerous though, because it's a very totalitarian thing. Like Superman just walking in like, hey, listen, I have the power to take all your weapons, so I'm gonna. It's like, I don't know that Superman would do that.
Well,
that seems like
no, I don't think he would either, but I think it's more of the idea. Never mind. Go ahead with your idea.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way. The Superman that you see that Christopher Reeve wrote the story for in Superman 4 Quest for Peace is the same Superman that is shown as being problematic in Kingdom Come by Mark Waid and Alex Ross.
True.
You know, when Superman steps in and says, like, you know what? I have the power to stop this and control all of it, so I'm going to. You don't even have to look at Superman stories. Look at Mark Gruenwald's Squadron Supreme. That 12-issue miniseries that he did was initially pitched as a Justice League of America story, and DC Comics was like, are you out of your fucking mind? There is no way we're going to let you write a story where the Justice League says, we're going to take over the world for a year and then we'll give it back to you. And you're going to have them brainwash criminals and this, that, and the other thing. And he was like, fine, I'll change some of the names and I'll bring it to Marvel. And Marvel made it. Lo and behold, 25, 30 years later, never mind Injustice, look at Identity Crisis by Brad Meltzer.
Yeah.
That's literally what they did to Dr. Light after he fucking showed up and assaulted Sue Dibney on the Watchtower. And not only that, they not only brainwashed him, but they altered Batman's memories as well. Like that is exactly the kind of shit that was going on with that. But they're illustrated as problems. And that kind of thing with Christopher Reeve's Superman in part 4, that is a bit of a problem. You can't have Superman be a citizen of the world and say, like, I want to be an example, especially after having the first movie so very clearly state that it is forbidden to interfere in human history like that. And then he goes and does it anyway. Like,
we all make mistakes. He's not perfect. He may not be human, but he's not perfect.
But he does know better, and that's the important.
True, but I still like the idea that at least finally somebody did something.
I get it because like deep in the core of me, I want that. Deep in the core of me, I want that for sure. But at the same time, it's frightening.
Oh, it is.
So
any kind of totalitarian. I don't know why I can't speak tonight. I'm fucking horrible. But go ahead, Leo.
So just to bring that back, actually, I had something else for JJ. Just real quick on JJ. One of the other things I read, why they're frustrated is because he tied up certain characters as well. So like he
is he also working on Green Lantern Corps?
The only thing that they didn't mention what he was working on. They mentioned a script for Constantine and Madam X.
Madam X.
Yeah.
Can't tie her up for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just champing at the bit to use her and all this stuff. Remind me later to look up who the fuck Madam X is.
so talking about
Xanadu, right?
that was a good game, you know. So if you're interested in reading a story of Superman trying to take a larger role in things, Kal-El, Son of Superman, that current run is pretty good. And before Superman left, he's talking to his it's not
hold on, is that the one where they turned Superman bisexual?
Okay.
It's his son.
No,
I
know.
forgot.
I know that
I
Jeremy
know.
knows this.
That was very much
Oh.
sarcastic.
So anyway, as Superman's leaving, he tells his son, his son's asking, you have all these powers, why haven't you fixed the world? And he talks about, it's not his world. He wasn't born there, but his son was. So he's essentially handing over the mantle to, do as he pleases.
Not only that, Superman's not there to fix the world. He's there to help the world.
Yeah.
The world needs to fix itself. That's the issue, really. To think that
good people, Kal-El.
they wish to be, they want to be. All you can do is guide them. I mean, it's right there. I mean, Mario Puzo had very little to fucking do with the actual screenplay of that movie. Like, I know he's credited, but Tom Mankiewicz came in and did a lot of fucking work that he was not credited for, and that's why Richard Donner had created the consultant credit for him, so he could get some kind of recognition for all the work he did on Superman the movie. Oh, yes.
Yes.
All right.
So this was leaked today. Well, not leaked. The Flash Twitter handle tweeted it out. The suits for the upcoming Flash movie, Supergirl and the Flash.
I think they both look amazing.
Yeah, they do.
There's definitely going to be more CGI added, I'm sure, too. But like that looks pretty.
Look at his boots. That's awesome.
Those do look nice.
Yeah. That's like a cool, very cool way to incorporate the yellow. That just have it be like metal plated gold.
Yeah.
I dig it. I'm so happy that they went with.
How does Ezra get the money to make that suit, though? Is he with Star Labs in this? What I don't know where they're going with this movie.
I don't know if you knew this yet, Jeremy, but the movie hasn't been released, so we have no fucking idea.
Okay, I thought somebody had a little bit of a clue in.
No, I would venture to.
Brandon, you're always got something.
I would venture to say that Bruce Wayne, as played by
that's true,
either Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton in this movie, because we do know that they both appear. They likely have something to do with the development of that particular suit.
I would say ask Ezra Miller when he's not drinking in Hawaii.
Oh, jeez.
Can I ask him when he's drinking in Arizona? Or?
Yeah. You think he'll come to Massachusetts anytime soon? I don't really leave the state much.
the quality of the suit, I'm assuming this is going to be a late movie suit. So I'm assuming this would be a Keaton build.
That I have to say, with the distance on the Supergirl suit, that's a little tough on the eyes. No, with all the lines and that's gonna be weird looking on screen.
Well, that's very
like what do you mean?
I don't know if maybe it's the quality of the picture I'm looking at right now, but
well, the current suit has all those. That's the look as of the current suit.
Yeah, no, hold on. I know what I think he's just talking about how it looks incredibly textured.
Yeah. Like there's the lines going through it. It's a little bit like I don't know if you're ever like watching a TV show or something and like somebody's wearing a lot of stripes or whatever, and it like kind of it fucks with the visual of it.
Here, Leo, stop sharing yours for a second. I'm kind of curious to see if maybe this might look a little different here. Let's see, here we go. All right, I'm sharing it. So anytime, Leo. Yep. All right.
That looks good.
See? Okay. So it might.
I definitely like that they didn't go with like some kind of crazy skirt or like ridiculous.
Oh my god, I am so happy for that. Like I cannot stand that they keep putting Supergirl in like skirts or weird leg bearing.
Yeah, like
I
know she's impervious, but like
but it's like when the New 52 started, one of the things that drove me up a wall was Supergirl's outfit when it was first shown, because I was like, why would she basically wear boots that is essentially amount to pants, but you've cut out sections on like her hips and knees? That makes no sense. It's like the same issue with Power Girl when they had her show up in the New 52. They came up with an incredible design and then they buckled at the last minute because too many people were complaining about her chest being covered. Or Wonder Woman. Oh my God, Wonder Woman was given pants in the New 52, and so many people just started fucking frothing at the mouth that they were like, "Oh, never mind, no pants." I'm like, "Yeah, why on earth would you give Wonder Woman pants? Let's have her fight in a fucking bikini."
She's got wires on. I was like, why do her hips look a little off? But like, I understand now.
Yeah. I mean, we all saw this a while back, and people were complaining about exactly that. Like, oh, her hips, the front looks weird. Like, what? Oh, she doesn't have a cape. And even on the show, we were like, listen, doofuses.
Oh God.
They're probably going to add the cape CGI, and
yeah, because
guess
it's going to be blowing in the wind. Just
yeah, and those wires and the way it looks, that will be fixed because obviously she can't really fly. I don't know what kind of expectations you folks have, but that's insanity.
I'm actually surprised they actually put her on wires still. Like that's impressive.
Yeah, I really dig the look of it. I like that it's blue all the way down, that they didn't give her red boots. My only thing is, like, I would have kind of touched upon the Superman Rebirth suit a little bit and just given her the red sort of like V at the very top of the boot to just break up that blue line a little. But that's fine. I really dig this costume. I really do. And I'm super excited to both see Sasha Kaye and for Sasha Kaye to play this role. Like, I think it's going to be incredible, and I don't think that they're trying to replace Superman. I think they're trying to bring characters into the universe.
All I can think of when they say they're replacing, I'm like, you got your tiki torch?
Oh, right. Get your polo and your tiki torch.
I'm like, they will not replace. Dude, it's a freaking movie. If you don't want to see it, don't go see it. Like, whatever. But everybody's going to see them. Like, that's the worst part. They're like, and then they all go and see it and whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, the micro galaxy. Those look cool.
Oh yeah. So I thought this was I thought they were bringing micro machines back. But yeah,
that guy's still. I mean, he should be still alive, right? The guy that.
I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name. He's got to be alive still.
Yeah, I would assume.
I think he is.
So I feel like whoever is up for an Oscar should bring him as their date.
Oh, right.
And just give him their speech.
That would be hilarious.
Way they can legitimately thank every single person that they want to and still have like 28 seconds to spare.
He should just be an option standing next to the podium for each person. Here, do this.
Well, can't they just deep fake it,
Right?
Yeah,
he is still alive. He is 67 years old now.
That's all?
For real. Wow.
Wow.
He's only like, wow.
He's been around for a while too. Yeah,
I'm old.
Yeah, no shit.
So these look absolutely awesome. I'm gonna have to get these myself. The company is Jazzwares, Micro Galaxy Squadron.
I probably won't be able to afford it. What's the Millennium Falcon going for?
So these didn't have prices.
Oh, that's how much then, huh?
Yeah,
400.
The smaller vehicles, I think, were around 15 each.
Did you see that thing that Playmobil put out?
Of the Enterprise for $400? Yeah,
out of control.
I'm like, what? Are you serious?
Well, out of all the products like you can build, like Lego and Playmobil is the most expensive of them all.
Oh my God! I'm like, how? What? I thought I had those as kids. Didn't I? I don't know.
Why?
The Lego is like the second most expensive.
Lego's ridiculous. I wish, because like those things
$500
look
for
so
friggin'
cool,
Lego?
and I'm just like, I can't.
I mean, they could make royalties alone with the amount of bricks people step on.
My God. It's a joint partnership between your local hospital and Lego.
The other thing I was going to bring up is the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial is almost over.
Is it?
Gone from our television screens, but always there in our hearts.
Amber Heard's team officially ran out of time today.
Wow.
Yeah, so they it was so funny.
I didn't know that was a thing in court.
Apparently it was. They each one was allotted so much time, and Amber Heard's team
they used double dare rules.
Dude.
it was
you ran out of time. I guess you have to do the physical challenge.
Yeah, she has to run the turd obstacle course.
Pull the flag from the giant turd hanging from fake Amber Heard's butt.
So they were pulling out some bigwigs today over this week. Johnny Depp went on the stand again today. It's just crazy. Just crazy.
Listen, honestly, like a lot of us out there have opinions one way or the other, and that's fine. You can have your opinion. But just remember, this literally does not affect you in the least bit. So if you are like somehow personally invested in this, I would advise you to just stop, because your life will continue on and be unaffected. For real.
They still won't care about you.
Yeah, and like they won't ever know who you are. You know, it's
Ever.
like when I see people like, oh, Amber this or Johnny that, it's like, oh, I hope they see this post.
I mean, as a casual moviegoer, like for Aquaman 2, and it'll.
Well, so they brought on this week Walter Hamada and asked him if the news affected her role, and
he was like, no, her lack of chemistry with Jason Momoa did.
Exactly. Well, no, that was it. Exactly. Yeah.
He only has 10 fucking seconds in the movie. It should be 0.
Well, why? Well, go ahead, Leo.
No, I was just going to say, and one of the questions today, trying to ask, if her career was damaged from any of this, and it was trying to compare her acting against the career of Jason Momoa, Zendaya. Who else did they compare her against?
Zendaya.
Why are they comparing her to all these people?
Why?
They're like...
Zendaya is an incredibly talented and charismatic young actor.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Amber Heard was in All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, a fucking Nicolas Cage movie, and then showed up in Aquaman. What the fuck?
Well, the guy said Zendaya, she started with Disney when she was like 13, has been in all these productions, and Amber has only been in so-and-so. And like they're referring to Zendaya by a single name. You can't compare her against Amber.
And they probably pronounced it right too, Leo. Zendaya.
Hey,
I love Leo's pronunciations. They're great.
But yeah, like, so they're actively comparing Amber Heard's career to somebody who's been working consistently since they were 13.
So Amber Heard's team was, from my understanding, from what I watched, what I gathered was they were trying to tell the story that due to the negative publicity, it affected her working, where she was supposed to be getting like $4 million per film, and the guy was saying she got $4 million for a superhero movie, but if she was going to do a drama, that would be a totally different payroll.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it
sounds like a lot of splitting hairs and a lot of whataboutism.
Well, it's just the stuff that's come out, and how she leaked to TMZ that she was going to be at the courthouse filing against him and going in with a bruise. So TMZ was actually at the courthouse. They were supposed to take pictures of her face with the bruise, and she submitted there was a couple pictures that were submitted, and they put them side by side, and they are literally the same exact picture. Just one was photoshopped where her face was red. Like her hair, like the strands are like you put them over each other. They're exactly the same picture. And she tried to say, "Oh, I took it in different light," but like her hair, like the strands and everything, exactly the same thing.
So you could just easily superimpose one over the other.
Yeah, yeah. It was photoshopped, you know. Yeah. So
It's really sad that like this whole thing has infected everybody's lives.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, well, you know, it hasn't affected my life. It's affected my downtime for sure, because like I don't want to fucking see any of this shit when I'm trying to just look at like my movie, comic, TV, and just world news. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't
all over the news feed. It's just insane.
Yeah, I can't open like the New York Times or the Boston Globe or the Washington Post without seeing something about this fucking trial. And
It's
quite
on
frankly,
CBS News every day for me. I'm
Well,
just
even
like, Jesus Christ.
video game creators, like there's this one guy I watch about for like Horizon Zero Dawn, tactics and stuff, and even he did a friggin' thing on the whole Amber and Depp thing. It's like it's the big YouTube thing, so it's like all over your feed. It's just insane.
I mean, I look at the top trending things on Twitter, and for the past week I haven't seen it. I mean, maybe algorithms change or something like that. I don't know. You said you guys have seen it in different avenues, but on Twitter I haven't seen it
every day.
Yeah.
Every day, and I am not looking for it.
No, I mean, because I always look at.
I don't comment on any of it.
I don't either.
Any kind of reaction.
This shit has become like a fucking Dunkin' Donuts in Massachusetts. You turn around and it's on every fucking corner.
Dude, I live in a small town, Westfield, Mass, and we have 4, and they're building another one, and these are full serve Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just
They clearly need a 5th one, Jeremy. I mean,
dude, we don't have enough people in this town that can. Okay.
Well,
anyways,
you're certainly not going to have enough people after they make a 5th one, because all that caffeine is going to kill someone.
We have 4 ourselves, you know.
Jesus.
But here's
we have more than 4 in Groton, Leo.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing when it comes to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp in this whole trial. All right, this is just my take. They're both assholes. All right, and I
100%.
don't for a second believe that they both weren't toxic in that relationship. And that is fucking awful. What I will say is I think that there was likely some abuse on both sides of this. But I don't think that it's wise for people to dismiss on either side of it just out of hand. You know, people always say, and I take issue with how it's phrased. You know, they always say, believe women. All right, you know something? If anyone comes forth as a victim, which unfortunately it is usually women, but if anyone comes forth as a victim, you absolutely need to take serious what they tell you. You need to absorb it and go and investigate it properly. Okay? And you need to approach it with compassion and quite frankly with kid gloves. You need to be very mindful of what the situation is. I do not think anyone should automatically be believed at any point. We are adults, and we all know at some point in time, for the most part, there are adults out there who will use police and what have you for administrative harassment. They will go inside of the system to use them to harass somebody for them. You know, so it's important to say, take seriously what victims say. Take seriously what they say. But to automatically come at a point where you believe them carte blanche with absolutely no no real evidence of anything. It's just a story. That's not good. You should never do that. When you do that, and I hate using this as an example, but it's such a strong historic example. If you think that I'm wrong in that assessment, just like if you're whether you're a man or a woman, whether it is a man or a woman who is making the accusation, who is telling the story that they were abused, all right? Salem, Massachusetts. Women especially at that point in time, but men did it too. They used the witch trials as a way to vindicate their own feelings against other people. They used it to vanquish their quote unquote enemies. They would lie and spread rumors in order to get people killed because it was, well, it's them, not me. And that's that. That's exactly the same kind of shit that goes on nowadays. We're just not ready to burn people at the stake or crush them underneath a door.
Well, I heard one story from the Salem trials that one person even used the trials to get his neighbor's land.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people would do stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of what you hear is like about how, goodies, that's, good wives. That's what they used to call women back then. And goodmen is what they called men. Goodies would talk shit about women who were like their closest friends just because they fucking said they didn't like their ankle sock one day or some bullshit. And guys would be like, oh yeah, I want his cattle, so I'm going to say that he's a witch and go and take his herd of fucking cows. Like, that's insane. But people just delved right in like, oh, the accusation's there, so we're just going to believe it. You can't do that. You can't automatically believe an accusation. It has to be properly investigated and vetted. And nowadays, instead of killing people or putting people through the process where, oh, well, if you survive, you're a witch, but if you die, you're a human being. Like, oh, great choices. We use the opinion of public court. We put that stuff out there and we try to get people vilified or sanctified depending on what the story is being told. And that whole like innocent until proven guilty thing, it's become an absolute fallacy. But the takeaway from this, like, I don't want people to think that I'm this is not a rant against men or women or anything like that, or victims. That is not it at all. What I'm saying is victims need to be listened to. They need to be heard. All right. They should never feel that they have to be silenced ever. But when they speak up, you have to use reasoning when it comes to that and say, that is terrible. I am sorry that you went through that. Let us find out exactly what happened and take care of it. And that's it. It should not be, oh, he made an accusation, so she is automatically a villain. She made an accusation, so he is automatically a villain. That is not the way it should be going down. We should all be using our fucking brains, and that is not the kind of shit we see happening. It's fucking enraging.
Yeah, and it's definitely, with this type of argument, it's a lot of times the men are embarrassed to say they're in that type of relationship. It's very difficult to talk about. It's totally opposite from the whole Me Too movement. And I just wanted to
add, you don't even know that you're in that kind of a
the thing is, I think victims altogether, male or female, have a very, very difficult time coming forward. Women have a difficult time for a very different set of reasons that men do. Women, and unfortunately at this point in the game, we've seen this to be rightfully so, they are afraid to come forward because of the fact that people will just come at them with vitriol and bile and just call them all kinds of things and say horrible things about them just because they don't want to believe that the person that they're saying did certain things actually did them. you know, and they will, and the people will absolutely do that, and not just and not men either, like other women, like that's fucking horrid.
Dude, I'm telling you, the things I've read from other women talking about, I'm just like,
yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
She's
But
still a human being. People.
exactly, and but then on the other side of it, like men who have been abused, they don't want to come forward because it becomes a question of them being emasculated and ridiculed. Like, oh yeah, oh the little girl beat you up. Oh, did she make you feel bad? It's like, so you're gonna infantilize any guy that comes forward, and you're gonna even further victimize any woman that comes forward. Like that's fucking nuts. That is not how we are supposed to be doing these things at all. You know, it's horrible enough that something happened and it brought it to the point where a man or a woman needs to come forward. They feel the need to come forward and say something. But even worse, when they do, that it's not even that they're met with disbelief, that they are met with just hatred and just awful things, inhuman behavior directed right at them. There's no call for it. None.
I just, you know, I know I've told you guys, but, you know, I went through something very similar, and it's been like a decade for me. So it's just like, it's still, you know, difficult to talk about. But I just wanted to add, nowadays, you know, if somebody's a witch, we weigh them to see if they weigh as much as a duck.
If they float, then they're a witch.
The nose. It's all in the nose.
That was a Monty Python reference if anybody missed it. So
I think we all caught it.
And if people didn't get it, they'd be sacked, and their friends would be sacked.
And their friends.
And those who haven't been sacked will be sacked.
Yeah. And then you bring in Wally the Wonder Woman.
The production company who was saying that we were going to sack all of you.
I gotta say, you know, we've kind of run through our topics and stuff, but I have been watching Discovery on Paramount Plus.
Yes.
Tell
me more.
It's kind of funny because we were watching it, and when they were using the reflection app in their quarters and stuff, and they kind of kept like using that mirror app. I didn't know anything about the show, but I turned to Dara and I was like, I swear to fucking God, if they end up in the mirror universe, I'm gonna throw something at the television. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, all right, so there's a mirror universe. I had to like break it down. I was like, you ever see in a show where they're like, oh, they're like an evil version of them, but they have like a goatee? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, that comes from Star Trek, because the mirror version of Spock had a goatee, and like that's the trope. She's like, oh, okay, I get it. And I was just like, yeah, I swear, if they end up doing a mirror thing, like they've been dialing it in, they've been telegraphing it in for like since the second episode, and sure enough, like zip, they jump, and they're like, everything's the same but different. I was like, motherfucker. They're in the mirror universe. And Dara keeps going, oh, so they're in the mirrorverse? I was like, mirror universe. She goes, the mirrorverse. I was like, I swear to God, it is the mirror universe, Dara. You need to stop calling it the mirrorverse. Get multiverse and omniverse and every other fucking thing out of your head that you've learned from comic book movies at this point.
I kind of
understand that this is Star Trek.
Oh, hold on, Mirrorverse. That works.
No. Because that means more verses than just that one mirror.
Yeah, mirror universe. It's just one. Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of verses, Brandon, I wanted to pick your brain for a minute. You saw a movie recently, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, yeah,
how was that?
That movie is everything.
Okay, I'm watching it.
Everywhere all at once. But it's
really,
absolutely
really good, isn't it?
All of that movie is everything that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness wishes it was. Like the potential for what Doctor Strange could have been after having seen that in the theater and then seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was so fucking mad at Sam Raimi and Marvel Studios after that point. Like,
oh boy.
What the Daniels did, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, what they did with this movie is nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, no, it was. I saw it in the theater, and then 3 days later, I saw Doctor Strange. So I was I was in the same boat as you, Brandon.
Yeah, dude. Like, and the thing is, the more I've thought about Doctor Strange, and this was before I saw Everything Everywhere, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what, this is like, it's an okay movie at best. It really is. Like, I love the Evil Dead series, the video games, the movies, and what have you. And I did make the commentary like straight away after seeing the movie. I was like, I just basically saw Evil Dead 4. Like, that's what Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was. Like, and I broke it down on the show, like, oh, hey, a guy wearing a blue shirt who's full of himself and always gets out of stuff by skill mixed with a little bit of luck by the skin of his teeth. He goes around bouncing through portals, chasing after a book that can either kill or save everyone. Not to mention there's a dead version of himself, and we see Bruce Campbell's hand beating the shit out of him. That's an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
You know? And it had the potential to be a lot more. And when I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was made for a fraction of what Doctor Strange was made, and how much more effective it was,
yeah,
it was mind-boggling. I was just
you
like,
know, one thing I took away from it, and I wanted to mention this. I know Brandon saw it. I think Leo saw it, right?
No, it's on my list, especially after I read that it was actually written for Jackie Chan.
I tried to get my household to start watching it, but the ADD was freaking real in this house.
Was strong.
Oh, it was crazy. I was just like, I can't deal with you
film.
people right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
The one thing I loved about this film was Ke-Huy Quan returning to acting.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is Ke-Huy Quan, who played Data in The Goonies and Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, is a fucking revelation in this movie.
I got to hang out with him at Terrificon in the green room, sitting in. He was eating lunch. Like, we barely said a word to each other, but it was like almost like the most like calm and like relaxed time at Terrificon I had. I was sitting there in the green room. He's sitting there eating his food. I was like, Goonies, man, cool. He was like, thank you. And he went back to eating, and I was just like, I sat there and ate, and we went about our day. I was like,
that's cool. Yeah, he is absolutely incredible in this movie, and not for nothing, while watching it, I mean, I do have ADHD, so the pause button and closed captioning are in full employment whenever I watch anything. But especially when it's something like this where I'm actually excited to see it and I start noticing things right away, I have to pause it. It's beneficial sometimes when I see things streaming instead of in the theater, because I have a chance to absorb a bit more and kind of talk it out. Lon Chaney and Christopher Reeve would have absolutely loved what Ke-Huy Quan was doing in this movie.
Yeah.
He completely changed how you saw him as a character simply through his demeanor, his body positioning, and his removal of his glasses. It was that simple. You could literally tell he was two different versions of the same person in one body just by those few small things. It was like watching Christopher Reeve take off his glasses after flying Lois around the city after their interview and getting ready to tell her he's Superman, and then changing his mind at the last second and going right back into slumped shoulders and high-pitched nerdy voice. It was incredible. And he needs to get more work right now.
The last person who I saw do that well was the doctor on The Flash, and I'm sorry, my geek card should be turned in. I'm forgetting his name and the actor's name. Yeah,
Tom Cavanaugh.
Dude, amazing. Like, but yeah, go on with that day.
Yeah. No, Tom Cavanaugh, in who played Harrison Wells and any other number of people in The Flash. He originally came onto the scene in the show Ed on NBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude, who would have thought, for real. And just incredible too that he is bilingual. He speaks French, and that's why he was able to incorporate that into like one of the other characters he was playing, Sherlock Holmes, or Sherlock Wells rather. But yeah, this movie, it is superb. It is sublime. There's little things throughout it that you can pick up on. When Ki-Hai Kwan's character, who his character's name is Wayman, and the one that keeps trying to help Evelyn, played by Michelle Yeoh, they keep referring to him as Alpha Wayman because he comes from the Alpha universe. At one point, he's trying to explain how the multiverse exists. It's because every little decision has huge ramifications, and it's a ripple effect. And those ripples are each their own reality where something was slightly different. And as he's explaining it to her, he goes, a reality where you wake up and, your clothes never wear as well the next day, and your hair never falls in quite the same way. And I paused the movie and I looked right at Dara and I went, but you never seem to run out of things to say. And because of that, for the rest of the movie, I listened, and they play absolutely Story of a Girl in numerous scenes in the background after that scene. And it's an acoustic version. They keep going back to like one scene in particular where the two of them are talking in a van, and the song that they're listening to, keep your volume turned up. Listen to it. It's an acoustic version of absolutely Story of a Girl. And I really I know the words to the fucking song because I'm a child of the 90s and early aughts. And it was on the radio constantly.
This here's Story of a Girl.
The lyrics to the song
Had a river and drowned the whole world.
The lyrics to the song line up with the movie.
Oh, nice.
If you know the lyrics while you're watching the movie, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I get it. Just watching our mouths for the words that we say, and the souls that we choose, shit like that. It's very well done, Daniels. Very well done.
Definitely moving up the list now.
I cannot recommend this movie enough. If nobody wants to watch it with you, that's their fucking problem. Seriously, it is so good. I highly recommend it. If you are someone who likes good movies, multiversal stuff, you went and you saw Doctor Strange and you thought like, oh man, this is the height of it. Do yourself a favor and see this movie and see what actual like story development and characterization is. Because
also a side note, I know drive-in theaters do double features sometimes, and sometimes double drive-ins have been doing pairings of Everything Everywhere All at Once and then Doctor Strange.
Oh,
and
man.
Some people go
That's an interesting way to go.
Some people go to the drive-in theater just to see Doctor Strange. If you're listening to my voice, see Everything Everywhere All at Once first, then leave. Or see Doctor Strange, whatever.
I would hope that they would put Everything Everywhere All at Once first.
Yeah.
Because that way it would ensure that people actually stay through and watch it to get to Doctor Strange. Because Doctor Strange is the big commercial flick that everybody and their mother has heard of.
Yeah.
And most likely is the reason that people bought the ticket in the first place. But this movie, I mean, it's not just Michelle Yeoh and Ki-Hai Kwan that do a great job in it.
James Hong.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to him, of course. But Stephanie Sue, who plays their daughter, she is also in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon. She plays the girlfriend of Mrs. Maisel's husband, ex-husband. Her name is May in the show. She's great in that. She's had small appearances on Awkwafina is Nora from Queens. She is very, very talented, and
She's also on Blacklist.
I stopped watching Blacklist several years ago, unfortunately. Unfortunate for them, not for me. I got part of my life back. But she's amazing in this movie. She's also going through and playing numerous versions of herself contained within this teeny tiny cute little girl. Like it's incredible. She's so good.
It's the same with James Hong. I mean, he's 96 years old and he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Finally, it's long overdue, and they give it to him after this movie. I mean,
it's so incredible to me too to see, even within this flick, how they show him being sort of aloof older gentleman who's likely dealing with some stage of Alzheimer's or dementia. And as soon as Alpha Gong, whatever, as soon as he shows up in that body, he's got slick black, shorter, dark hair, and it just changes his look and demeanor so much. And he goes straight into his, you have to kill him right now, right? And I'm like, whoa, like it's such a departure from the older immigrant gentleman who couldn't speak like a lick of English to all of a sudden he's like this super capable old dude who's ready to fucking waste anybody that gets in his way.
It's like he switched from his character from Wayne's World to Lopan from Big Trouble in Little
exactly.
China.
Yeah, for sure. Just a better hairstyle. Just a better hairstyle. That's all.
So Steven mentioned drive-ins. If you're local to our area, we have the Mansfield Drive-In. And for a blast in the past, on screen one, we have Top Gun Maverick playing At Dark, and followed by Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible. Tune into FM 89.3 to listen to the movie. Screen two is Bob's Burgers, the movie, followed by Doctor Strange.
Is there really a need for? I mean, I've watched Bob's Burgers. It's
Side
decent.
note.
Was there a need for a movie?
Side note to piggyback with Top Gun and Bob's Burgers. The guy who does the voice of Bob for Bob's Burgers did the voice for Archer. And
John Benjamin.
Yeah, and Archer's catchphrase is Danger Zone. So there's your merger for Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, he's from Gloucester, I believe, originally. H. John Benjamin. But he
finally screen three, Doctor Strange with Firestarter. So if you want a little blast from the past, drive-ins are a lot of fun.
Bob's Burgers movie. My God.
I just don't understand like the need for all these cartoons to get movies now.
Lynn.
Well, the thing is, like, if you think about it, the Fox Sunday night lineup, out of all the movies that they've had, like shows that had movies, it was only Bob's Burgers and Simpsons. Family, if you don't count the Family Guy, like.
Well, those aren't movies. Those are made for TV movies.
South Park.
But like King of the Hill didn't have their own
SpongeBob.
movie.
3 movies for SpongeBob. There's
Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah.
Pretty soon they'll have their own on Paramount Plus in July. So
funny you mentioned Archer. Yesterday? My wife walked upstairs and she closed the bedroom door. I don't know why, but she closed. No. I was downstairs.
Oh, you were downstairs. Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to get her attention. Like, I'm at the foot of the stairs, and like you have to realize, like I'm a 5'7" mixed background kid from originally Boston. I fight very hard to not sound like I'm originally from Boston. And H. John Benjamin and I, like, if we stood next to one another, like we both got the beards, we both got the light eyes, we both bald. If I wanted to, I could really stretch and do Archer's voice, and I didn't realize the absolute like ridiculous nature of what was happening. My wife's name is Dara, so much like Lana and Archer. I am at the foot of the stairs and I'm going excuse me, I'm going Dara, and she opens up the door and she's like, "What?" And I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, and it was only after that she was like, "Who the fuck do you think you are, Archer?" And I was like, "Kind of. All right, I'll see you when you come down. Bye. Sorry." Yeah, like I used to fuck with her when we watched it more regularly and would do that, like when she'd be in another room and I'd just be like, "Hi." but just like completely missed me. I wasn't aware of what I was doing, and she was so mad when she opened the door.
I know we're running on time. I just wanted to bring this thing up. I just saw it on my news feed. I'm sure you might have seen it, but I'm sure all of you will enjoy it. The Weird
Oh,
graphic novel.
Who's that being put out by?
Let's see. I think this is
Songs of Weird Al graphic. Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool.
Forward
Z2
by
Comics.
Emo Phillips. Nice. That dude's a lot funnier than you would think. He opens for Al like at every concert. It's great. He just got diagnosed with COVID too. Weird Al.
I like that
So
cover
did Kevin
there on the
Smith.
right.
Hand signed by Weird Al.
Oh, that's right. You're on your computer. I have a touch screen. I went to touch it and like it didn't do. I was like, why isn't it doing anything?
What site is this, Leo?
Z2comics.com.
Z2 Comics.
I'll check that out.
Ooh, okay. So, okay, here we go. So the Super Deluxe Edition is $300.
Oh, okay.
Comes with
that's probably that tie-dye, or not tie-dye, but like hippie-ish cover that I want.
Let's see, are they all? Which one's hand signed? Oh, okay, so the Super Deluxe Edition is autographed.
Yep, it's autographed. Got a slipcase, 3-piece exclusive art print set, a vinyl slip mat, a wax pack of Al's collector's cards. That's pretty cool. I have like all the Weird Al collector's cards because I was a VIP, like a mandatory fun 5 years ago or whatever. Drink coasters. That's what those. I was trying to figure out what these little vinyl looking things at the top were. They look like 45s. Right next to that little accordion dealy. Those are the next to it. Yep, those are the coasters right there. And then a branded mini accordion. Jesus, Mary Joseph.
All right, I don't need that much. Can I just get the cool book cover?
Yeah.
Written by Weird Al. Cover artist is Drew Friedman. Forward by Emo Phillips. Interior artists, very artists including Stephen Shanks, Peter Baji, Bill Plimpton, Gideon Kendall, Felipe Sobrero, Sam Viviano, R. Sikoriak, Jeff Mikomsky, and many more. And I'm sure I butchered all those names.
Most of them, sure.
Yeah.
Mike and Laura Allred did the slipcover case. That's pretty cool. Madman? No, Mike Allred?
I know Mike Allred. Yeah.
I figured you did. Didn't he do a X Force or X Static or something like that?
You mean?
For Marvel, didn't he?
I'm not a Marvel guy. I'm more DC.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. I'm just saying, I think he actually did an X book for Marvel. I think it was like X Force or something like that. Mike Allred, Marvel X Force. Okay, I think that was it. Yeah, it's X Force, and it's very, it was X Force and X Statics. They must have changed the name at some point. But it's definitely Mike Allred's style. Like, if you've ever seen Madman, then you've seen these books. Like, it is signature style. Pretty cool, actually, that they let him do that, because there's no way that anybody else could have come on to do that book the way that he did. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. I guess is that all she wrote?
I believe so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. Head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the shows there. And Steven, don't you have something going on?
Yes. We mentioned at the top of the show. I'll mention it again. you can nominate my podcast, Super Retro Throwback Reviews at theday.com. The link is in the show notes above or down below, like Leo says. So vote. You can vote once a day. You can use multiple email addresses if you want. Vote every single day if you can. Closing's June 5th, and let's bring home an award once and for all. Also, check out my podcast, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm here every Wednesday on the Dorkening if I'm not working.
Okay. Jar Jar.
Vote for Steven. I'm making a bunch of emails right now. And check out Comic Book Lovers Buy Sell Trade on Facebook.
Brandon.
In regards to, going ahead and using a bunch of email addresses for Steve's contest, I would just like to quote The Office. Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year. But go ahead and you do you. If you'd like to follow me, though, just use one email address. And you can check me out on Twitter at Brandon's Powers, on Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. If you feel so inclined, come on over to the Facebook group Powers Combined. We're just a good group of dorks and geeks looking to share memes and info, have some laughs and good times. Our number one rule is don't be a jerk. If you violate it, you will be booted immediately. Other than that, you can find me here weekly on the Dorkening Podcast Wednesday night show, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am also doing 2 bi-weekly podcasts, both with Leo Pond and our friend Justin Cooper. The first one is The Dork Night, which covers all things Batman. And the second is Comics Paradox, which talks about alternate reality tales and takes on characters and universes that you've already been well familiar with. Stuff from DC Comics and Marvel Comics, as well as storylines away from What Ifs and Elseworlds, such as Amalgam Comics or Age of Apocalypse. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Awesome. Catch you guys later. Bye.
See ya.
Have a good night, everybody.